Hello and welcome to another episode of The Aftermath. My name is Ian, and we have a dynamic duo episode this week. It's me. It's him, the one and only Grog, man in the corner.
Yep.
This episode is more than meets the eye. There's more than meets the eye in this episode.
God. Everybody stop listening.
Come on.
Just quit now.
It's not that bad. Come on.
Not that bad.
I was trying to lead into it. Have a little fun with it. Come on.
Well, for everyone that doesn't know or is a loser, we watched the first Bayformers film.
The Transformers 2007 film.
Boy, do I got some feelings about this movie.
Really?
Yes.
Okay. Because I don't know.
Now, I'm going to preface right now. Is this a very serviceable, campy at times, but enjoyable action flick? Yes.
Yeah.
Not meant to be taken with any form of seriousness. But is this a good Transformers movie? Is where I've taken a bit of issue with it.
Okay. Elaborate, please.
It features the bots.
Of course.
As it should. I mean, of course it does.
Numerous of them.
Yes. But not nearly as often as one might have expected from a movie centered around them.
Really?
Yes. Now, coming from
there's a lot of fight sequences with them in there.
There
and
is.
That's what I felt like it was comfortable. But
well, I mean, the action is what this is on par with a Godzilla film for me. I'm just gonna say that now. That's how I think of it.
Okay.
But the only issue I took with it was that they didn't treat like the Autobots or the Decepticons as like the main characters, like they were in the show.
Right.
Which, I mean, that's just what I was used to. It's not what I was expecting in a movie about them.
Right.
But I do favor the action scenes quite a bit.
I mean, I don't know. I liked... Okay, so it came out in 2007.
Right.
It was a different time.
Mm-hmm.
I was in
Very different time.
I was in my teenage years, and so people nowadays may look at this and go, "Ooh, this didn't age well." But I look at it and I like it.
Yeah.
It came
and
from a time in my life when it came from a simpler time in my life.
Right.
In my teenage years, I didn't have a very hard time. I'm not saying I was like king popular in high school or anything, but I didn't have an awful time in high school. It was not fun. I didn't like it. But I mean, there was media and things around me that came out that I enjoyed.
Yeah.
And between 2005 and 2010 were like a pretty fond time for me because it was like those teenage formidable years where like I was finding out what I liked and what kind of music genre I was into. So I look at this and there are some cringy moments in the movie, especially with like the relationship building of Shia LaBeouf and Megan Fox's characters.
Yeah.
But
what a power couple.
I liked the movie.
Yeah.
The movie has like a color about it. Mm-hmm. It has this very warm, orangey tone to it.
It's got that real nice early 2000s grime.
Yeah, and like it's very contrasty. It's like what they call it in the biz, if you will. It's punchy. It's like the colors are punchy. Like it's like I didn't realize that until. It's like I said, the darks are dark and the brights are very bright. Mm-hmm. And so again, there was a point in time at a certain scene in the movie that Mallory and Dylan were laughing because there's a car sequence where they're driving and it's like sunset kind of behind them.
Yeah.
And so obviously the windows behind them are like washed out.
Yeah. There's just nothing but
because it's all white.
Yeah.
And it doesn't feel for me out of place because again the movie kind of sets itself up as being like,
that's just part of the
very
look.
Contrast or punchy, if you will. It like I said, there's some scenes that I feel like, as far as camera work goes, that I was like, it probably could have been
plenty of shaky cam.
And
if you're not a big fan of that,
not even that, just like screen transitions, is what they call it as well, where it's like they look in a certain direction,
Yeah,
but
there
like,
were like a lot of snap zooms
and
after it would go off.
There's a couple of scenes where like certain people were talking in a direction and the person's not like looking in the same direction, so it feels a little off. But that's just little minor nitpicks in the movie. But I must say, I thought Shia LaBeouf did a great job in this movie.
Yeah,
I think he did a wonderful job.
Yeah.
Watching this again after, I mean, it's got to be 5+ years since I've watched this film.
Been a while since I've seen this one.
I watched this and I was like, man, he really sells the character.
Oh, yeah.
I thought he did a great job of like, there's a lot of like fumbly scenes of him being like this young boyish character. But it also like his conversation with a lot of characters and his demeanor around things, it just comes across as funny,
with the exception
and
of
nice.
A few characters, like especially some of the ones like in the military or like police scenarios.
Right.
A lot of the dialogue came off like really organic and
exactly
natural.
Yeah, it did. I liked that, and that is a very I think
right. Like the acting was great, but it wasn't to speak for like the writing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I guess that's what I'm trying to say is that the dialogue and the conversations between the characters felt very organic, which gave it a very lifelike feel, even though they may be
like if they were talking
a little
in
cheesy.
any other cadence, this shit would sound fucking insane.
Yes, exactly.
Like
for real.
Even more so than it already does, but like in a good way.
But this is also the film that really, I think, set Megan Fox as like the babe of like the.
Definitely. I'd never heard of her before this film.
No, definitely not. But she was in a bunch of other stuff after this.
Oh yeah,
I think, and just was kind of like that.
The go-to hot chick.
Yeah,
for the time.
And again, there's been a couple of those throughout time in like the 80s and the 90s.
Right.
I can't think of names right now, but I know that, of course, I'm saying that. And there's people like, oh, yeah, those, those characters from that movie.
Anyone could name one, I'm sure.
Right. I know there's one in particular, I can't remember her name, but she was in a couple of movies, and she was like the babe that like you put her in a movie and everyone's like, oh, yeah. But anyway.
That's a babe.
That's the babe. No, but
oh, man.
I really enjoyed the movie. The more I think about it, the more I'm like, the fashion just looks like early 2000s and kind of weird. And
dude, this is the most 2000s thing I've watched within like the past year.
Yes, I believe you.
It's insane.
It also the score for the film has a lot of really epic sounding tracks.
Oh yeah,
but the general vibe is this kind of rock jam.
Right.
Again, mid 2000s rock jam that like again was the music that I was listening to. Mm-hmm. We were joking around because in the credits scene, Linkin Park starts playing, and I believe they wrote that song for the movie. I think.
Did they really?
I could be wrong, but I think it's "What I've Done" is the song.
Oh my god!
And I could have swore that that was the theme of the movie. I could be wrong.
Oh jeez.
But
who else played it? It was Smashing Pumpkins.
Yeah, Smashing Pumpkins. And
Disturbed.
Oh, dude, yeah. You want to talk about
it's like the big three.
A blast from the past, dude.
Oh my god.
I was gonna try and look and see what it says.
Yeah.
But also serves as the main theme of the 2007 science fiction movie Transformers.
Oh my god. But it wasn't like written specifically for it, or
I'm not sure.
Maybe.
The thing is,
give him another minute.
So it says that it was released in April of 2007, and it was like then featured as like the main theme of the 2007 Transformer film. And I like I said, I believe they had probably commissioned them to make it, or at least have like a
yeah.
Anyways, regardless, I just keep thinking about it. There's multiple scenes that Shia LaBeouf does a great job of like selling this like panicky teenager moment, and it's so great because it feels very natural as a person and as a character.
Right.
There's so many funny scenes that I love the one in particular whenever all the Autobots have come together and they're in his backyard or front yard or whatever.
Oh God!
And he's like, you know what, Dad? I'll clean the whole.
His dad's stopped him at the door, about to come outside and like finish the rest of his chores that he forgot about because he was chasing a fucking giant robot.
Right. And then he's just like, "Oh, Dad, I'll clean the whole thing. I'll knock it all out."
Right.
Trash, I got it. I'll take it all out. It's okay. And of course, he's trying to hide these massive robots.
Right. And of course, no sane person is going to buy like anything he's saying.
No, of course not.
Like these are obviously just like on the spot excuses that he's trying really hard to hide something.
Right. I know that I'm going to be in the minority of people who actually enjoyed this movie.
Oh, no. I mean, I'm not... Look, when I rattled off my gripes with the film at the start there, I'm not saying, like, you're wrong to like this movie.
Oh, and the thing is, like, I know that you aren't the only one to think that.
Right.
But there's other people out there that I've talked to that don't like movies like this from that time period.
Right.
And it shows with the current Metacritic score. It's at, like, a 58% for the movie. So it's like there's a large percent of people out there that probably just really don't like this movie.
Yeah.
Because, again, it's a mid-2000s movie that just has that kind of cringy, campy nature to it.
Right.
But I like it and I think it's fun and it was a great film. It has that same feeling that Pacific Rim kind of gives me, and I always point to it. I always point to Pacific.
Specifically.
I was getting confused. I thought I said Pacific Rim and I got scared. I always point to Pacific Rim because I remember watching that in the theater and it gave me, and I've said this about Godzilla, at least the new Godzillas, and I'll say this again about Transformers. It gives me that feeling of being an 8-year-old or 10-year-old kid again.
Yes.
Of like watching a big robot like fight each other, beat the shit out of other stuff, and explosions are happening. It's like, oh yeah, it's so cool.
Beautiful.
And it's so, an art form. and again, I remember walking out the theater as like I forgot how old I was. I had to at least have been 20-ish or something like that whenever Pacific Rim.
Oh my God, for real?
Probably so. I mean, hold on.
Shit.
Let's see. Hold on. Let's see. I almost typed in Pacific Rim. Hold on.
I mean, you got to make sure you find the right one.
Yeah, it's the specific one.
This one in particular, please.
Right. Came out in 2013. So
oh my God!
So I was
what
almost
the fuck?
I was almost exactly right. The first Pacific Rim came out in 2013.
Oh,
I believe.
Oh my God, that fucking hurts.
I was probably 20 at the time, like I said, give or take. But I remember walking out the theater whenever that came out, and I was like, I feel like a young kid, like kind of giddy with how fun that was. It may not have been great. It may not have been the best movie ever, but if nothing else,
I walk away with at least a semblance of the same feeling.
I got a cool looking fight with a big robot smashing alien into bits, and again,
perfect.
You know, there's tendencies of that in some of the new Godzilla movies for me.
Right.
And I've talked about this in the past before.
Yeah.
This movie kind of gives me that as well, of these super sick Black Hawk helicopters.
That's why
these jet
That's exactly
planes.
why I said at the start that I think of this as a Godzilla film.
Yeah, exactly.
A lot of stuff becomes so much more enjoyable if you just come at it with that that mindset.
Yes.
I'm telling you.
Right. And that's it. I walked in there having a good time, and I had a couple laughs from the human characters along the way, because I do think there's some fun dialogue.
Yeah.
There's some of it that I think is a bit cringy, like I said.
Yeah.
There's a few scenes with the soldier guys.
Oh yeah.
I understand why they are there in like the mid to late part of the movie.
Right.
But at the beginning part, I'm like, why are we with these like cringy soldier guys?
Right.
Especially because it has that same mentality of like a soldier bro guy that it kind of feel or whatever. Nothing wrong with that if anybody's out there is like that, but it just kind of has that kind of cringy mentality of like early 2000s.
When it's played off as like a focal point of your character.
Yeah.
That's when it, like, it's fine if it's like just a little personality trait.
Yeah.
Here and there. But if that's just like all you do.
It felt like they were trying to do like the squad from, what's it called? Oh, Jesus. Predator.
Oh yeah,
it kind of felt like they were doing like a,
man.
but it just didn't hit.
Not even close.
No, but like, do you see what I mean? Like, there's like these there's these specific guys, and each one has like a quirk about them that's a little different.
They aren't named either,
right? I think they are, but again, it's definitely not hammered home because at least 2 or 3 of them die.
Yeah,
you get the 2 main ones by the end,
right?
The big name guys. But regardless, it's what it felt like. It felt like if there was a bigger squad of them and those 4 guys were like kind of touched on a little bit more and like had a more niche quality about them,
development,
it would have been nice. We're like, oh, I can see this like squad of guys I can really root for, but it just kind of felt a little forced, especially at the very get go. It's like just it's a little weird. But again, obviously that's not why you're here. Is for this fun military squad.
You can tear this movie apart, look at it in the objective sense, all day long. But at the end of the day, that's not what you're here for.
You get a couple of big robots beating the shit out of each other,
just smash them together,
just absolutely smashing up buildings and everything.
Oh yeah,
a city that has not evacuated at all.
They did not even issue a warning.
Nothing.
They were so worried that this was gonna get out that they didn't even warn the fucking city.
That feels realistic.
Full of innocent civilians.
In some capacity, that feels realistic.
I mean, maybe I wouldn't put it past them.
I love how I made a joke at the top of the movie. After they meet I forgot what he is. He's like the little scorpion bot guy.
Oh yeah, Scorponok.
Yeah, and they're like, I guess it's the Pentagon or somebody, or I guess it's the Secretary of Defense.
Yeah,
he's like, we came in contact with a piece of robot technology that we have never seen before or whatever. And I was like, that's the most unbelievable.
If that was an actual news broadcast, I would be aghast.
I said out loud, I was like, that's the most unbelievable thing about this whole movie.
Right, they're actually telling people about this?
The government is telling them
fuck?
Immediately after it happens that they have come in contact with something they've never seen before. It's like they would hide that shit so fast.
Oh, yeah.
Damn.
That military base up there, like what happened to it? What military base?
What you talking about?
What?
Scorpion bot? Nuh-uh.
No.
Never seen before in my life.
Preposterous.
Yeah, you blew up a small civilization in the Middle East? Nuh-uh.
Nah.
Never seen it before.
Nah.
Can't prove it.
Right.
Right.
Where's your proof?
Right.
What you got?
But yeah, obviously Peter Cullen is in this again.
Thank God.
And he is
I'm telling you, man.
He's the voice
you cannot have Optimus Prime without Peter Cullen.
Dude.
It just does not work.
Every time I hear his voice, he just talks, and you're like, oh, I just want.
It's man, I would do anything for you.
Every time I hear him talk, I just always hear him say, "I am Optimus Prime." Yep. That's what it always comes across as.
Right. That man is a treasure.
Yeah, it is. Oh, and fun fact, I just have a little tidbit here.
Yeah. It's Ian's fun fact corner.
Yeah, Ian's fun fact corner. I was going to say something else, but I couldn't think of anything else. You may know this, but I don't think I actually knew this. He's played various things, obviously.
Yeah.
One of those being Winnie the Pooh in the shows and movies. And also Voltron, from the TV show.
Oh, shit. I forgot about that.
Yeah, the big one that I know is he's actually the Predator. He's the Predator sound.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, or the Predator, like the little...
Yeah, the
clicking. I can't do it.
Clicking and clacking.
I can't do it. It was a good try.
Okay, we'll take your impressions.
All right, it was a solid try. So,
man, I can't believe I forgot about that.
Yeah, so that's
damn,
that's fun.
The sickness, the vapors are getting to me.
The vapors are getting to me.
Oh Lord.
In addition, it says that Cullen was the original voice for Prime's comrade Ironhide. So a little fun fact.
Wow.
I think.
Wait, so did they have another one lined up for Optimus at the start?
That's the end of the quote, so I don't.
Oh, okay.
I don't know.
He might have just been able to do like a dual role.
Probably so. A little double action.
He's got good range, that man.
Right. He's done this once or twice.
Right.
Yeah. He's played Optimus
Quite
Prime
familiar with the Autobots.
Right, of course. Because he's voiced them. He voiced at least Optimus Prime for like a long time.
He's been there since the start.
Damn, dude, I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
When was do you remember watching this movie when it came out?
I do. We actually went to the theater to
Really?
see it. I went and saw it with my dad. And of course, I fucking loved it at the time.
Yeah, obviously.
Giddy little kid, loves Transformers already.
Of course.
I only remember like the ride back and being like, man, that was so freaking cool.
Man, that was so cool.
But
little Dylan in the back seat going, pew, pew.
Right? Yeah, that was a good day.
I believe it.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome, dude.
Yeah.
I remember it being in my old living room at the old house I lived at.
Oh, yeah.
We had like once upon a time, this was a big deal. It definitely is not anymore. It was a plasma screen TV.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, and it was a like 60 or
Watch
50,
out, ladies and gents.
right.
We got a fucking high roller.
Right. It had a little
plasma screen.
And we had a pretty good, like a little decent little sound system. I remember watching that movie.
Damn.
Like when it came out. Or like when, at least
you
when
had
it
the
released.
whole 2007 home theater set up, didn't you?
Dude, it's cringy now because I remember that TV being like every bit of like 80 pounds or whatever.
Oh,
It's to hang on the wall. It was a flat screen.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, God. Yeah, that thing must have weighed
it was a flat screen, and it was, like I said, very heavy, and we hung it on the wall with like brackets or whatever. Anyways, we won't have to get into all that, but it was a pain, to say the least.
That's funny.
But yeah, dude, can I say, oh, dude, I don't even know where to begin with this.
Yeah.
There's so many funny little quirks with the movie, but the one that cut us up both was the point whenever, again, going back to the scene where all the Autobots
have like followed Sam to his home, trying to find these glasses that his grandfather handed down.
This is a pivotal point in the movie because, again, they're trying to get this
They're
data.
trying to find out where the Allspark is.
Right.
The cube.
Which is the whole point of the movie.
The MacGuffin.
Yes.
that didn't exist before this movie.
And, really?
No, yeah.
Interesting.
I mean, like, the Allspark had been mentioned, but it wasn't like
an item?
Yeah.
I see. I mean, okay.
Right. I think the closest equivalent would be like the matrix of leadership.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, there's like coordinates that are on these glasses or whatever. Mm-hmm. And so they're like, we got to, like, this is like the whole point of the movie. It's like, you got to get the glasses, dude.
Yeah.
And obviously, this alien species of robot is like a little anxious, obviously.
This is the first time visiting Earth. They don't really know the etiquette.
Right. And of course, our young boy, Sam, played by Shia LaBeouf, is up here like, guys, I need you just to give me 5 minutes. Yeah. And like, I guess he's playing this so well, especially talking to a CGI character. Right. And again, Optimus Prime, in the most polite way possible, is like, Sam, nice as you have to find the glasses. And he's like, he's like, dude, trust me, if my mom finds out what's going on, she's gonna kill me, dude. Yeah. Literally, just you can hide. Right. Just please give me a few minutes.
It's so fucking adorable to me that Optimus fucking Prime is just waltzing around this house, like accidentally stepping on things, going, "Oops,
oh sorry." The best part is that the dad is walking down the hallway. Mm-hmm. And Optimus Prime is trying to round the corner of the house.
Just to avoid contact.
Yeah, and then he accidentally steps a little too far forward, and his head kind of like
it's in the frame of the window.
Is in the frame of the window, and then the dad walks by and he goes, "Oh!"
He just rounds the corner back real quick.
I've never heard Optimus Prime go oop before. It was the best thing. Oh, dude, it was so funny. Yeah, I got a kick out of it. I got a kick out of it so bad because we both laughed. It felt so authentic, the whole scene. Anyways, it's just moments like that. Yeah. So,
like this, I think it's just the fact that this revered figure, at least to me,
yes,
just bumbling around a house trying not to get spotted.
Right. He's just trying his best. Come on.
Like, I swear to God, if this kid doesn't grab fucking glasses.
Dude, just come on.
I'm losing my patience.
Dude, how fun, man.
Mm-hmm.
What a fun
It's a fun movie.
One thing I told you, now I can't find, and I literally just did like a brief Google search, so don't take this, take this at face value, I guess is what I should say.
Like anything we say.
Of course. Sometimes.
We could be wrong.
Well, yeah, just so you know. I could have swore that whenever the movie first came out, now again, this could just be, we could be wrong. This could be gossip that, friends of mine had told me before. Mm-hmm. But basically, the Camaro, this movie came out in 2007, and I want to say that the 4th gen Camaro was like either in the 80s or 90s. I'm not a super huge Camaro guy, more of a Mustang type of guy, so I know a lot about that. Regardless, the 4th gen Camaro, I believe, came out sometime in like 80s or 90s, and it had had a long hiatus of no new models coming out. Yeah, they were planning on a new release coming out in the mid 2000s, and I believe that Michael Bay was in talks with GM. A lot of stuff happening, right? And they had some concepts that were potentially going to be like, they were like the final concept of like, this is going to be what we're going to, theoretically, we're going to make this car, mass produce this type of car. And I want to say they had a handful of them, between 3 and 5, I think, or something like that. And I want to say that like the movie was trusted with a few of those. Again, I'm saying all these vague numbers because I don't know.
Right.
And I could have swore, I think they had gotten like 2 or 3 of the concepts to like.
You weren't able to dig up anything about this on the net, or was it just...
Again, specifics, no. But I got I got some details I'm going to come up with in a second. I'm just setting up the story.
Okay.
I don't know
I didn't mean to interrupt the build-up.
No, you're good. You're good. It's fine. I'm saying, I'm just saying these vague numbers because I don't know. This is what I heard back in probably 2008 or 9.
Right.
I don't know how much this translates to reality now, almost, 10 years later.
Yeah.
But
give or take a decade.
Exactly. I guess now 12 years at this point.
Yeah.
So I lost my place. So I'm assuming, I think the movie, Michael Bay got trusted with like 2 or 3 of them, I think is what they had.
Yeah.
And they had them dressed up to look like Bumblebee.
Yeah.
Or vice versa. Bumblebee was kind of looking like this now, kind of. And so once you get like halfway through the movie, he obviously transforms into this new version of Bumblebee, and he looks like this brand new Camaro.
Yeah.
And that launched off, like to be honest, this was like their version of like a Camaro commercial.
Yeah.
Is like the best product placement like for a car.
Right.
They're like, we're going to hype it up, talk about it, and of course the new movie's going to drop and it's going to be this really big deal, and it was. And it, of course, this movie made shit tons of money.
Oh yeah,
which we'll get to in a moment.
Made
a lot of money for good reason back in the day. And so and this movie just this car skyrocketed. Everyone wanted one. It was the hot
new surge of popularity.
Exactly. And it says here that earned a starring role in the first Michael Bay Transformers movie as Autobot Bumblebee. Yeah, so it says that which led to Chevrolet introducing its own Bumblebee edition of the car.
Oh yeah.
And so there is, I want to say you could either special order it, or there is very few of them that I think were either part of the movie production or that were otherwise limited edition ones.
I can only imagine how much one of those things is going for now.
I'll tell you.
Oh, for real?
Well, again, there was not many of them.
Right.
And if they are, they're not for sale right now.
Yeah.
But there was an auction. But the Bumblebee edition of the car, I think, has it has different side mirrors. It has a like a bigger engine bay, so it has one of those like hood scoop areas.
Oh yeah.
It's got big, I want to say like it looks like 24-inch
big
old rims. It's got some like other like trim pieces that like a standard edition one back in 07 wouldn't come with. And it says that there was an auction for like the first edition one.
Oh wow!
And it went for, and I like again, this was a handful of years back, and it said that it went for $500,000 was the like the last bid.
Wow.
Yeah. So a car that's probably
sad to say that I was expecting
millions. Well, I don't know about that.
I mean, yeah, probably not.
Well, no, but like the thing is, like for a car that probably, I mean, with the attachments on it, all the bells and whistles could be $50,000.
Yeah.
Maybe something like that. So the fact that it's like,
we're not auctioneers here.
10 times that much money. I mean,
Don't quote us.
Right. But they also sold off, like 3 of the other ones from like the recent films and stuff like that. So there's other ones. And again, obviously, since that movie started off the whole trend, and Bumblebee is a Chevrolet Camaro. Each subsequent movie they've had some
to the Volkswagen Bug used to be.
Dude.
My God.
Each subsequent movie they've gotten a new version of a Camaro. Souped up made it all fancy like. I will say,
real cream of mushroomed.
I've never. I prefer a chowder myself.
Oh, excuse me.
A ramen noodle soup. The Transformers: The Last Night, which I've never seen before.
Yeah, that's the new one.
It's the new one. It's a movie.
It sure was a film.
Yeah, it says that it's like a 2016 model of Camaro, and this one looks badass, dude. It looks real tight.
Nice.
Yeah. But anyways, so that's a little fun fact for that one.
Now, Ian, I have a question for you.
Okay.
Who's your favorite Transformer?
Oh man, I told you this before. I thought that, so I played the Transformers game.
Oh my God. Yeah, you did.
On
I remember that one, yeah.
I played that game on like the PS3.
Yeah.
Because I think the PS3 came out in 06, and I got one. And then I played this game.
Yeah.
And had a lot of fun with it.
Man.
I like planes and jets. So obviously I like Starscream.
Right.
Because he's an F-22 jet, which is like super sick.
Oh yeah.
But I wasn't a big fan of his like non-transformed body, his big Dorito bod.
But motherfucker looked like a chip.
He looks like, okay, so I forget which one it is. There's Penelope and there's Kasai, right? Of the Gundams.
Yes.
The newer ones from
Hathaway.
Flash. Yeah. So which one looks like that? Again, is it Kasai or is it?
It's the Kasai.
It's the Kasai. Okay, because there's.
Oh my God, you're right.
Yeah, is that
holy shit?
The Kasai has this like. Again, we're joking about saying Dorito shaped body. It's like if you take like a triangle with the widest part at the top and the smallest part at the bottom.
Right.
It just has that quality. If you were to draw a triangle like that with a head and some arms and legs, it's kind of a rough draft of what.
That's what they decided.
The Kasai Gundam and this version of Starscream looks like.
Oh my God!
There's nothing wrong with it. It just is not my. It just looks a little strange.
I definitely like the older version
right.
of his look.
Right, and so with that in mind, I also like Blackout.
Yes.
Because in the game, Blackout was so fun to play as. He was a helicopter, so he could like hover and move around and stuff.
Oh yeah.
And I just like him in the movie.
Does whatever a helicopter
do what helicopter do.
Right.
But also in the movie, he is not like does not have a lot of showtime. In the movie.
He starts off real strong.
Right.
In the opening.
Yeah.
Takes out a whole military base.
Yes.
And then he shows up again
at the end.
Right.
Or like in the final battle kind of thing. There's nothing wrong with that, but I like whenever he transforms in himself with the blades kind of like fall behind him like a cape or something, and he's got that like his rudder blade hand thing. It's like it's really sick.
Do a fucking buzzsaw.
Yeah, I just think it's cool.
Oh yeah.
So I like him, and then I like the original Bumblebee.
Yeah.
I like the original one and his upgraded one, but I don't know. Both are really nice. Mm-hmm. I like the Camaro. I like the addition of it. I like the story that goes along with it. And obviously because again, I don't think I told you about this. Mm-hmm. With that Camaro or those Camaros they had, because there was very few of them, they had to be very careful with them.
Oh yeah.
So they were like insured in a certain way, mm-hmm. and they had some strict rules by GM they had to follow. And this is what I was told years ago. This could be false. But again, because there was not a lot of them and they weren't mass produced yet, and this is like, because again, this movie was being filmed well before they were supposed to release. Yeah. Like the cars themselves were supposed to release.
Right.
This was the commercial for the car that's supposed to come. They're like, mm-hmm. So help me God, don't blow up these cars.
They're some of the only ones we have.
Exactly. And so I believe that like there are certain shots that like, I believe some of them are real, but I think some of them are also dummies, mm-hmm. like that aren't because like there's some for like glamour shots, and boy, is there a couple of really nice glamour shots of that Camaro in this film, mm-hmm. and also the whole squad too, the big rig and the Pontiac, whatever it is, and the GMC truck thing or whatever.
It's fucking huge.
Yeah, dude. So anyways, like those are kind of my two favorites of those. I mean, obviously Optimus Prime is like
he can't go wrong.
So the question you're asking me feels a lot like who's your favorite character, and I feel like if I was to say Optimus Prime, it's kind of a cop out because he's the guy.
It's not a cop out.
No, but I always say that because he's like the main character. I feel like if I'm picking my favorite character, there's obviously, if it's done well, the main character should be the coolest or the cool character or one of the coolest characters. And so for me, it feels like obviously Optimus Prime is the man. So it's like I feel like I can't, because obviously he's number one. Right. That's just the way it is. But I have to pick somebody else because I feel like it just is going to go to Optimus Prime. So anyways,
of course,
that's my logic at least.
Yeah. I mean, I gotta go with Megatron.
Really?
For like my favorite character in this film.
Yeah.
Not my favorite Transformer.
Right.
Those I have reserved for 2 spots.
Okay.
Now you may say that they have made waves with me.
Okay.
Shockwave and Soundwave are my 2 golden boys.
Wow. Did they show up in this movie?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, you know.
No, they did not.
No, they did not.
But
hey, at least they can't disappoint you because they weren't here.
Right.
I mean, you know.
Better not to be there at all.
They did disappoint you in some capacity.
Yeah. I mean, Megatron really sold his just the naturally evil ways.
Right.
As he is wont to do.
Of course. I think it's hard to say character design, but I guess that's kind of what you'd call it.
Oh, man.
His design overall.
The design.
Looks...
in these films, as far as like the Transformers go, I've heard so much about. I don't mind them.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I get why people don't like them.
Oh, really?
They just have a lot going on.
Yeah, and that was what I was...
As opposed to like the simplistic designs.
Right. But that was what I was going to say with him, is that he just looks like an amalgamation of metal.
Like just a bunch of metals strapped together.
Exactly. But it... not in a bad way.
Right.
Like a lot of it looks... Mm-hmm. I mean, well, it's chaotic.
Yeah.
But at the same time, he's also like the main villain guy. So it's like, I mean, okay, it's kind of...
looks evil.
Right, you know, it looks...
It's very sharp.
Unpleasant. Yeah, you know.
It's like a walking assortment of kitchen knives.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
It's a pretty appropriate look, I'd say.
Right.
But, man, I don't know. There's just something about him I enjoy every time he's on screen.
A lot of the
just
my knife block all of a sudden became sentient.
Enjoys being evil.
Oh, dude, looking at some of these Transformers, it could be because I've watched a lot of Gundam recently.
Oh yeah,
in the past couple years, of like. Yes, a Gundam is more like plated up, so you can't really see.
It's more of a structured design.
Yeah, you can't see the underneath of it. Mm. But this has a similar vibe for me of like what a Gundam like realistically could like not I mean, obviously there's more organic motion, so like things moving
these
away.
Things are alive.
Yeah, but like there is this like underlining, like there's a mechanism underneath it that's doing something, and it's like covered up by this like paint job facade. I'm talking about the Autobots here, by the way. So that it gives it more of a, yes, it's busy, but it's also like it feels like a robot that's alive, which I think is really cool.
Oh yeah.
But it's harder for me to feel that way about the Decepticon side, or at least Megatron himself, because it's like it just feels like a bunch of metal.
That's usually the consensus. They didn't really deviate from that with the Decepticons in like the other films. They just kind of kept that look.
Right.
What I mean, it works for like the evil side.
Right.
Like it's just a bunch of jagged metal mesh.
It feels a little more chaotic than I should have set this up better. Mm-hmm. It feels more chaotic than what I'm about to talk about.
Yeah.
The new version of Mechagodzilla has a similar vibe of like it just feels like metal, and it feels real, but it feels dangerous. Mm-hmm. He is a little more like, it's hard to focus on one single thing. Yeah. Because there's just so much. Mm-hmm. Kind of like Mechagodzilla, but there's still aspects of it. You're like, that looks like a dinosaur. Yeah. That's made out of
it's recognizable
robot.
Enough.
Right. So it's like, it's kind of this weird gray area.
Yeah.
Some would say gunmetal gray.
Right. Another thing I wasn't too big on with the movie was how kind of anticlimactic the fight between him and Optimus felt.
Yeah. I see that.
Yeah. Like, I mean, the shots we get are neat.
Right.
Like, whenever they first, like, get at it, I thought that was really neat. Like, any dialogue they share is always a fun time for me.
Right.
I love it when those two talk to each other.
Oh, dude. Oh, man. I have a lot. This is where it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, this is where the character development side of the Army Squad, I don't know what they're called. I guess they're Red Beret, or one of them is a Red Beret, I think.
They just say Special Ops or Rangers.
Yeah. Whatever you want to call it, let's just call it Rangers.
Right.
Whenever, at the end of the movie, they're really there, because again, obviously they're in their territory.
Right.
There's a war breaking out. They're trying to kill a tank and other stuff, fighting shit.
When do we get the guns?
When do we get to shoot the things? Is that, so, like, they focus on them.
Right.
In this aspect.
So I'm just like spamming grenade launchers at
these fucking random things. And it feels like this is where the disconnect for me happens, is we're really getting good shots of them as a team, or at least the two main guys. And it's like, if we were going to focus on these guys, then I feel like we needed to focus on them before.
Right.
Now we're getting to a point where, like, they're calling shots. They're telling us to do things. They're making orders. They're blowing shit up.
They got a fight scene against Scorponok earlier on in the film, but after that, it's just, I mean, you don't see them until, like, the last quarter.
Right. They come here and there a little bit, but it's very rarely.
Yeah.
And again, we know them as characters, and we kind of root for them, because again, they kind of been through this shit before. So whenever they start to back up our boy Sam against the government, it really does make a difference.
Yeah.
So they are important in a certain moment, in a very integral moment in the movie. I think their role is important.
Yeah.
But then after that, it's like, I feel like it would have been nice to like not focus on them a little bit, and then focus on the robots.
Transformers.
The robots punching each other.
Yes. The robots in disguise.
Yeah, the robots in disguise, if you will. More than meets the eye.
Right. Waging their battle to defeat the evil forces of the Decepticons. The Transformers.
Yeah. If you will. The whole reason why we're here.
Right.
But anyways, like, because of our like main character guy, I think his involvement is needed. He is like the reason why we're kind of doing all this.
Yeah.
That's where it's like hard for me to justify the Ranger guys, because I'm like, Autobots obviously front and center.
Right.
Our main man and his lady, I mean, obviously, I feel like if they're around, that's okay. We can focus on them and the Autobots and the Decepticons.
But anything more,
now we're kind of losing our sight.
Yeah,
and that's where I feel like that's where it feels a little anticlimactic. Is because I feel like there could have been a little extra to like really squeeze out that last bit. But yeah, I see what you mean though.
Yeah.
Oh man. So. Because I think I'm trying to remember. I keep equating it to the Godzilla movies because again I think that's recent enough for me. The modern ones. I'm meaning the MonsterVerse,
right?
As it's known. Is it 2016 was the Godzilla? Or was it 14?
2014.
2014
was Legendary's first foray with Godzilla.
I believe, if I'm right, I can't remember, but like the main man, the like dad figure or whoever you want to, or the scientist dad, whoever he is.
Oh yeah, the the dude that studied wolves.
Right. It's him, and I don't believe there's any like other character, right, that like we focus on besides like other like secondary characters with him.
Right. He meets like the science team.
Right.
At I can't remember what the place is called. We'll say the G4 base.
Right.
And he's running with them for most of the film.
But there's no like secondary main character or anything.
No. Besides like the young Godzilla. Girl and the mother.
Right.
But other than that, yeah.
Okay. Because I think I'm setting this up because I feel like you have Big Monster,
right,
which you focus on. He's kind of the main reason why we're here.
Yeah.
And then you have our main character that's kind of like helping us move along with the story.
Right.
Which I think is needed sometimes. And I feel like this movie could have been that.
Yeah.
If we would have not had that Ranger team and then just focus on our main character, or vice versa, had like a squad of like 4 Ranger guys and then no boyish character with his girlfriend, then I feel like it would have been a little more cohesive. Like you have these, like, let's just say these 4 guys of a squad, each one have like a specialization.
Yeah.
And you get to know them, you get to love them, and they move along this path of like meeting the Transformers. You know, you know what I mean?
That would have been
because
cool.
then it wouldn't distract from, or I guess it wouldn't have moved
felt so crowded.
You're right. There's a lot of people involved.
Right.
Justifiably so, but it also feels like there's like too many Chiefs, not enough Indians.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I don't know if that's racist or not. I
don't know.
Right.
The semantics on that.
Or too many cooks. Or too many chefs, not enough cooks. However you want to say it. I didn't mean to be offensive. So, anyways,
we'll just cut it out. It's fine.
No, it's fine. I'll own up to my mistakes. I hope you know my intentions were never to be offensive. I apologize. Goodness. But anyways, you know what I mean, though. Is there's so many people that are important, or at least claim that they're important, that it's like, what's going on here?
Yeah.
So, anyways, but dude. It also says here that in the film there's actually a lot of real soldiers.
Oh yeah.
There's jets involved in many scenes that have their real military jets flown by real military pilots.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah.
Neato.
Yeah. So anyways.
Oh man.
You have anything else you want to add to this?
It's a fun watch.
It is nice. Mm-hmm. It's a fun watch.
Yeah.
It's nice to look back at a movie like this, at least for me, because I'm looking at it kind of with rose-colored glasses, because it's a time that was pleasant for me.
Yeah.
I can easily see how people could look back at this and find it cringy and like, I can't look at this because it was an awful time for me.
Right.
But it's definitely a blast from the past. It doesn't feel like it's been that long, but then you start to do the math and you're like, wait, so that is actually 15 years ago.
Oh, God.
That movie came out 15 years ago.
Oh,
it's like,
no.
I can't believe that we're approaching 20 years since that movie came out. That makes me feel so old. And you're welcome if anybody out there was a teenager in the early 2000s like I was, because now you feel old just like I do.
This one's for you.
This one's for you, champ. So, oh, man.
Holy shnikes.
And this movie also got a bunch of sequels.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I do not know.
4.
I only know the second one, I think.
Revenge of the Fallen.
I don't think I have watched.
I actually really like that one.
I don't think I watched 3 or 4.
Yeah, I mean, I have, but it has been a very long time.
Really?
Yes.
Well, not as long as it has been since we watched this one.
Yeah.
It's
no
said,
kidding.
I believe the budget of this movie was $145 million or 147. It says anywhere in the ballpark between 150 million and 200 million, which is like a sizable budget for like a big title movie.
Yeah.
This movie's box office was $704 million.
Oh my
almost $705 million.
Absolutely
and
insane.
That is nuts, dude. That is a lot of money.
Oh yeah.
You easily tripled your profit.
Mm-hmm.
Or I guess doubled your profit. But
you're rolling in it.
Tripled the amount of money it would make to make this film, which is nuts, dude. Jesus. We're talking almost quadruple here.
Oh yeah.
Which is, I mean, that's, I guess, a sign, either a sign of the times or a sign that's a good movie, either one.
It's a bit of both.
Because the CGI,
yeah,
it's phenomenal.
It was great.
For a movie that has probably 80% CGI, which is probably like, I'm probably being generous here, probably has 90-something% CGI in it.
Oh yeah.
Wow, dude.
Good
It
chunk.
feels solid. There's only a few scenes that I feel like there's a couple of things moving around that it didn't look pretty authentic. They didn't look authentic, but I mean, you're nitpicking at that point.
Yeah.
Man, there's a lot of stuff in this movie that's not actually there.
Right.
My last talking point is that Shia LaBeouf, again, great actor in this film, did a really great job running like his life depended on it.
Yeah.
There are at least 4 or 5 scenes that I've seen of this man.
He spends most of the movie getting cardio in.
I have never seen a man run for his life like I have Shia LaBeouf in this movie.
Oh yeah.
There's at least 3 or 4 scenes where there is something I know for a fact that he's running from nothing in real life. But if I didn't know any better, he's running from a giant robot that's about to kill him. And he makes it very believable.
Yeah.
Because he is running for his life, and it is wonderful. So kudos to him. But anyways, thank you so much for listening to this episode. I really appreciate you tuning in, and I hope
thanks a bunch.
I hope I didn't offend too many people on this one. I hope you
Not to worry.
I hope you like this movie at least a little bit.
Yeah.
You didn't hate it as much as
I'm
some
hoping
people.
we didn't bring up any sour tastes in your mouth with this.
I didn't mean to flash you back all the way to the early 2000s. I didn't mean to do that.
Yeah.
But anyways, like I said before, thank you so much for listening. If you're looking for us, you can type in The Aftermath on almost any podcasting platform. You should be able to find us. If not, you can type in linktree/Ian Wolf, and you should be able to find all of our links, social media links, and ways to get in touch with us that way. If you want a podcast app that has the ability to rate, give us a 5-star review.
Yeah,
it would really we really appreciate it. It would really help us
stopping you?
What the frick is stopping you, dude?
Yeah.
But yes, until next time, thank you so much for listening.
See ya.
Bye-bye.